welcome to the class. Today we are going to discuss about the new lesson of economics, that is about money and credit. So already know about what is money, what is the importance of money and what is the important role played by money in the development of economy. In detail, we learn about what is money and how the development of money is took place, that is stages of the evolution of money, and also the central bank RBI, the importance of RBI and the functions of RBI and the regulation function of RBI. In detail, we will discuss about everything about money and credit under this lesson. So first let us discuss about the meaning and evolution of money. What is money and what are the stages of the development of money or the evolution of money. Under that, first, money is an important discovery that has made day-to-day transactions, value goods and services, value of goods and services, or measuring the value of goods and services, as well as storing the wealth for future easier. So before the introduction of money, whatever, storing the money for future as well as measuring the value of goods was difficult. It was not so easy compared to the evolution or the discovery of money, after the discovery of money. So here it plays important role in measuring, that is it help in to make day-to-day transaction very easier, then valuing the goods and services, measuring the values and goods and services also very easier now, and storing the wealth for the future. So you know that there is a bank, if we keep our amount in the bank, that should be safe, because bank always considered as a custodian of the people's money, or a custodian of what deposits of the people. That's why this is what the meaning here. We can buy goods and services using money because it is commonly accepted means of payment. So whatever goods and services bought by human being or any person, that is measured in terms of money. Why it is measured in terms of money? Because it is commonly accepted by all the people. If it is commonly accepted by all the people, then there is no problem at all. If it is not accepted, then only problem. But after the introduction of money, after the discovery of money, the value of goods and services measured easily, because this money is commonly accepted by all the people. So here we can buy goods and services using money because it is a commonly accepted means of payment, measure and store of value. So measuring also very easy, and whatever payment is very easy, and one more is storing also easy with the introduction of money. According to Robertson, what is the opinion of Robertson related to money? According to Robertson, money is anything which is widely accepted in payment for goods or in discharge of other business obligations. According to Robertson, that is the definition of Robertson related to money. Money is anything which is commonly or widely accepted in payment for goods or in discharge of other business obligations. In business activities as well as in the payment, whatever the amount, whatever thing is used, that is commonly accepted by the people, widely accepted by the people, then it is considered as money according to Robertson. Once again I will repeat. Robertson says money is anything which is widely accepted in payment or for goods or in discharge of other business obligations. Whatever business activities that is completely based on the transaction of money. Already you learned about bank transaction. What is the role of banks in the money transaction or transaction activities? Here, finance or the money plays important role, especially in transactions as well as buying and selling of goods. Buying and selling of goods, in that whatever transaction, business transaction, money plays an important role because it is widely accepted as a common measure of value. That's why money is considered as important invention by the invention for the smooth or the easier transaction. Next, evolution of money. How this money developed, or what are the stages of the evolution of money? Today we use paper notes, coins as money. Paper notes, that is currency, and coin used as a money. Money has evolved over a number of years through the different stages or various stages. It passed various stages. After passing that various stages, finally what we are using today, that is currency or paper notes as well as coins, that is because of the evolution of these stages. Evolution of the money, because first whatever used, it had some drawbacks, inconveniences. So after solving all these drawbacks, finally whatever introduced, that is now we are practicing, we are following, we are using in this present world, that is paper notes and the coins. Let us see, let us discuss about the stages of evolution of money. First, the stages. First, barter system. In detail you learned about barter system in the 8th standard. So very easy, that is exchange of goods for goods. Exchange of goods for goods, whatever the value of goods is measured in terms of goods only. So exchange of goods for goods is called as a barter system of economy. Here in the primitive stage, people exchanged goods for goods without the use of money. People exchanged goods for goods without the use of money, because there was no existence of money. Money was not at all discovered during that period. That's why goods itself is used for the measuring of value of the goods. That's why goods are exchanged for another goods. Barter was extremely difficult method of trade. So barter system is considered as a difficult method of a transaction or the difficult method of trade. Why it is considered as a difficult method of trade? We can see the example. For example, if you had cow and wanted sheep in exchange. So here goods for goods, things for things, animal for animal, isn't it? That is the barter system. So here if you have a cow but you wanted to exchange with the sheep in exchange, you have to search an individual. First you have to search an individual who not only had a sheep but also who needed cow in exchange. So exchange, the person, one who is having cow, wanted to exchange his cow with the sheep. For that purpose, first he had to search a person who is having sheep. Not only that is enough. So many people will get that, those are cattle rearing, that is especially sheep and other animals. But that person should be ready to accept cow as for the exchange of sheep. That is the first thing. If he is not at all ready, if he did not want a cow, then he won't be ready for that. That's why here, that is one thing. And one more thing, you know that what is the size of cow and what is the size of the sheep. Then one more thing will be, here the problem will be occur. What is that problem? That is nothing but for one cow, how many sheep could be here transacted or exchanged. That is one more problem. So all these are considered as a drawbacks of a barter system of exchange or the inconveniences of the barter system of exchange. So barter system had many deficiencies for easy transactions. So the transaction was not very easy, transaction was not very smooth during that period. So it had its own drawback or the inconveniences. So that's why it had led to the one more development. What is that development? Let's see. That is the commodity money. So because of exchange of goods become very difficult, that's why one more is used as a medium of exchange, that is a commodity. Commodity was used as the place of money. Later on, the society started using some commodities against which goods were exchanged. It also comes under the same barter system only, exchange of goods for goods. So here it is separated from barter system and explained as a commodity money. So a commodity a prescribed size. Commodity with the prescribed size and weight was adopted as money, and everything else was measured in terms of that standard commodity. Based on the size and the weight of the commodity or the goods were exchanged by each other. Varied commodities were used as commodity money in different countries. Varied means different commodities are selected as the medium of exchange in the place of money in different countries of the world. For example, cattle in Greece. In Greece, people used cattle as a commodity, as exchange of goods or for the trade purpose. Next, Rome. In Rome, the people used sheep, and in China, the people used teeth. That is a commodity used for the exchange of goods or for the trade purpose. Remember, here cattle were used in Greece, sheep were used in Rome, and teeth. Teeth were, because that also useful for some other production. That's why that was used in China. However, commodity money could not solve all the difficulties of the barter system. Because of the barter system, because of inconveniences or the drawbacks of barter system, this was followed by the people. But even this system also, commodity system also saw given some problems, or people face some problems mainly because of the commodity money. As a result, one more stage was came into existence, that is called metallic money. So what is the importance of metallic money? The standard weight, fineness and general acceptability of these metals made them a very suitable medium of exchange. So what are the qualities of metals made these metallurgical or metallic money as acceptable by everyone? That is, one is standard weight. Weight is the particular coin has its own weight, that is called as a standard weight, and fineness, and one more is a general acceptability. Three qualities help the coin or the metals to be used as a medium of exchange. Medium of exchange instead of barter system or instead of commodity money. Gradually, the precious metals like gold, silver, bronze, etc. began to be used as money. Learnt about various kingdoms, and in that kingdoms they used they issued some gold coins, silver coins, copper coins as well as bronze, and that is used as a medium of exchange. So here the costliest metals are used as a medium of exchange like gold, silver, bronze, etc. as a medium of exchange. The coins minted out of these metals were of different denominations. Gold had its own value, silver its own value, bronze its own value. So there is no equal denomination, that is totally different. Easily divisible, then portable, movement is very easy and very convenient in making payments. Then what are the uses of metallic money? First thing is, it is different denominations. The coins were of different denominations. Second one, easily divisible. Next, third one, portable, and were convenient in making payments. It was convenient in using for the exchange activities or a trading purpose. So that's why metallic money became the important medium of exchange. Next, paper money. So next comes the important stage, paper money. How the paper money was introduced in a society or in a transaction, day-to-day transactions. The metallic coins were unsafe. Even though that is portable, but it is unsafe to carry from one place to another, because already we know that weight of the coin. So holding the coin and moving, because traders or the merchants were not at all doing their whatever trading activities in particular place. They are moving from one place to another place, one country to another country. So while moving from one country to another country or from one place to another place, along with them they have to hold these coins. That carrying coins is very difficult. That's why here the metallic coins were unsafe to carry from one place to another. Therefore, traders began to carry the written documents. The carrying these coins from one place to another place was unsafe. That's why, because of the plunderers, because of the robbers, that's why it was unsafe. That's why here what they did, they carry the written documents issued by well-known financiers. During that period also money lenders or the financiers were there. So they issued a written document instead of coins that was taken in the place of coin. Written document played important role as a medium of exchange. So remember, traders began to carry the written documents issued by well-known financiers as evidence of the quantity of money. So, what is equal to the quantity of money at their command? It is issued by these financiers. The written documents were not actually money. The written documents, whatever used instead of coins, was not actually money, but were accepted and exchanged for money. Generally, it was accepted and it was used in the place of money. When such documents were issued by governments, after here the government itself took the responsibility, and this whatever paper documents were issued by the government, legally it was accepted by the people. That's why whenever these documents, written documents were issued by governments, they were called as promissory notes or currency. The responsibility was taken by the government of taking the document, written documents, printing written documents. Then it was came to be called as promissory notes, or what we are using today, currency. So this was evolution, remember, of paper money. First, the traders used written documents and it was approved by the financiers. Later, it was government itself took the responsibility and started to print these written documents. As a result, this came to be known as promissory notes or currency. Later on, the central banks established by the governments started printing notes that had the guarantee of the government. So here written documents came to be called as currency. Later, the government established central bank, and these central bank have the monopoly power over printing the notes, and it is legally accepted by the government and the law. That's why here that is considered as a currency. This paper money became legal tender, that is the legally acceptable money. So whatever printed by the Central Bank of India or any other countries, that was legally accepted by all the people of that particular country. So the guarantee, government itself was guarantee for that. That's why it was whatever paper money came to be existence as legally acceptable money. No individual can refuse a legal tender in that respective country. No person in that country, whatever that country issued currency, that should be followed in that particular country, not to oppose or not to refuse. So that was the system. That's why it's called as a legally accepted money. The legal tender is called as rupee in India. There is already you know about that. Dollar in USA, pound in England, euro in Europe, yen in Japan, and yuan in China. So that is the important currency that is followed legally accepted in other countries of the world. India is rupees. Now next, one more, the further step has taken by the banks, that is bank money. So what do you mean by bank money? As trade and commerce flourished, bankers started issuing instruments for still easy transaction. So holding, carrying this money from one place to another place, so that is not, it is not safe, unsafe only. That's why to make, whenever the trade, industrialization, trade and commerce is flourished, so along with that the bank also started changing its, the formation of money in different, that is started issuing instruments for still easy transaction. That is checks, drafts, deposit. Already you learnt under bank transaction what is the role played by the checks, drafts and the deposit. Deposit, credit and deposit receipts, etc. Thus came to be used as money. So this also plays the same role of money. Which are they? Checks, drafts, deposit receipts are plays important role as equal to, all these are equal to money only. These help in transaction as well as transfer of money between persons and places. The transaction is very easy. If you have a checkbook, one amount you are wanted to transact, easily only one signature and writing amount is very easy. Instead of carrying the suitcase and going one place to another and always forgetting everything and keeping concentration only on that suitcase, it's difficult. Instead of that, this is a very easiest method: checks, drafts and deposit receipts. Next comes one more development. After bank money, next step, that is or the development stage, is plastic money. So what is this plastic money? Very recently, the banks have innovated plastic cards known as credit card and debit cards. The recent development, now no checks or the whatever receipts, but now only the plastic card. That plays important role. It plays a major role in the transaction, day-to-day transactions. So the banks have innovated plastic cards known as credit card and debit cards, through which transactions and transfer of money have become still easier. Very easy, holding that plastic money inside the pocket and moving anywhere in the world. That is very easy here. So now you need not carry or handle cash at all. But cash should be in the bank. Without bank, if you are holding that card, that also waste. So that amount should be whatever deposited in the bank. Then only we can use our money in the form of plastic cards. You only need to swipe the card, that you are very familiar now wherever you are going. So purchasing in online or whatever and swiping the card, that is over. And can use PIN, that is personal identification number given by the bank, that should be used, and immediately transaction is possible. For conducting transactions, so using this PIN. Since it is done through electronic means, it is also called as e-money. This debit card and credit card are used through the electronic machines. That's why it is also called as e-money. Now next, functions of money. What are the functions of money? The first one, primary or main functions. The first and foremost important function of money is a primary function, that is also called as a main function. The important primary functions of money are medium of exchange or means of payment. The first and foremost important function is medium of exchange or means of payment. Money is used for selling and buying goods and making corresponding payments. Money is played important role in buying and selling of goods and also plays important role in making corresponding payments. That is a primary duty as a medium of exchange and the payments. Second one, measure of value. The second important measure of value. The prices of all goods and services are expressed in terms of money only. The value of goods and services are measured or expressed in terms of money, not in other terms, only in terms of money. This makes it easier to determine the value of goods and services with a common unit. So that's why this is considered as a common measure of value. Money is used as a common measure of value. That is the first primary function. Under that, first primary functions, first comes medium of exchange, second one is a measure of value. Now secondary functions, primary function, secondary function. What are the secondary functions of money? Standard of deferred payments, that is important function. Money eases the future transactions too. Future transaction in the money plays important role in the future transactions. A borrower is under an obligation. Borrower, one who borrowed money from the bank or any other person, is under the commitment or the obligation to pay specified sum of money on a specified future date. So within that date they have to pay. So that is money the person will accept to pay whatever borrowed money within that particular future date. Similarly, a person buys now agrees to pay stated amount of money on a future date. So further here one more important role played by the money, that sometimes immediate payment is not possible, but the person will agree. He will buy the goods, but he will agree, will pay in the future date. So that is one more thing. Here that is considered as a secondary function. Under that first comes standard of deferred payments. Second one, store of value. That also for the future purpose only. Storing for the future purpose. Since the future value is assured, money has made it possible to save or store wealth for future and help in its accumulation. So bank, if you are keeping your money at home, that is not safe at all, and you won't get an interest also. If same amount if you are keeping in the bank, that is safe, because bank is the custodian of our deposit, one thing. And one more thing, you will get interest for your deposits. So instead of keeping at home, you can make it that is called as idle savings. You already learned about that. So instead of that, you can transfer that money in the bank, and bank will provide security to our amount. So it is called as store of value for the future. Next, transfer of value. The introduction of money has made the exchange of goods to distant places possible. Exchange of goods from India to America also possible with the introduction of money. Otherwise it was too difficult. The easy transferring purchasing power, that is, money helps in ease of transferring purchasing power from person to person and place to place, has expanded trade and commerce. As a result, it helps in the development of trade and commerce, because the payment is possible, that is from person to person, place to place in future. In that sense, it is very easy for the development of financial development of the country and also the growth of trade and commerce. So that is the secondary functions of money. So next about banks. What is banks? Already learned about banks transactions. Once again about in detail about banks. Banks play a vital role in the development of trade, commerce and other economic activities in a country. Trade and commerce, that is mainly depending on the bank activity, and also other economic activities of the country is possible only with the help of a bank because of the financial transactions. The Indian Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Indian Banking Regulation Act was passed in the year 1949. Defined the term banking company. Defined the term called the banking company as, you know what is banking company? As any company which transacts the business of banking in India. Banking company means any company that transacts the banking business of banking in India. And the term banking is defined as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits of money from the public, repayable on demand or otherwise withdrawal by check, draft, order or otherwise. So here the money, you know what is the role played by the bank. The bank is playing important role here. It accepts the deposits and lend money in the form of loan. Isn't it? Already you learned here. Accepting for the purpose of lending or investment. Accepting deposit for the purpose of lending or investment of money, that is from the public. Accepting deposit from the public and lending money to the public. And repayable on demand and withdrawal by checks, draft, order or otherwise. So already you learned in detail what is banking activity, what is banking company, everything under banking transaction lesson. In India, the banking system consists of the State Bank of India and 20 public sector commercial banks. That is 14 nationalized in 1969 and 6 in 1980. So it consists of State Bank of India, 20 public sector commercial banks, regional rural banks that was established in the year 1976, then private sector banks, cooperative societies and banks that are registered with the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, and regulated by it. So all these are regulated and registered under RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. So you can see different banks, commercial banks, private banks, public banks and regional development banks. So many banks are there that all regulated or controlled by Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is considered as a central bank of India or bankers' bank. Importance of banks. What are the importance of banks? First one, banks play an important role in economic development. They mobilize the savings of the public and make these available for investors. First, it accepts the deposits and helps the people to get that deposit for other people for their in the form of loans. So, it mobilizes the savings of the public and make these available for investors, thereby helping the process of capital formation. Whatever idle savings turned into capital formation with the banking transaction. Banks provide a convenient way of remittance, transfer of money through the accounts from the accounts of the customers. Transfer of money is very easy, mainly because of the banks. So many procedures are there that we have to follow. If we are following that procedures, then very easy for the transaction or the remittance. Banks offer higher rates of interest on fixed deposit. Fixed, already learned the types of bank accounts under bank accounts. Fixed term, that is term, or fixed account that is for 5 years or more than 5 years or 2 years or 1 year. So along with that term, you will get the interest also. They give loans to the borrowers at lower rates of interest. They lend money to agriculture. So people will get money in the form of loan. So bank lend money to agricultural sector, industrial sector and the service sectors, or the service activities or industrial activities or the agricultural activities for their development. For the development of agriculture or for the industry or for the service sector, here the bank provide money. They issue demand drafts, credit cards, debit cards. The banks also invest the funds on securities of the government. Now the important point related to the banks, that is let us discuss about the Central Bank of India, that is Reserve Bank of India, RBI, Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is the Central Bank of India. Central Bank of India, and already we learned the other two names for RBI, Reserve Bank of India, mother of other banks, as well as also called as Bankers Bank. It was established on 1st April 1935, 1st April 1935 and nationalized on 1st January 1949. So remember, RBI was established on 1st April 1935 and nationalized on 1st January 1949. Now what are the functions of RBI? What are the important functions of RBI? First, monopoly of note issue. This is the most important function of RBI. Monopoly, enjoys monopoly over the issuing notes or the currency. RBI has the monopoly of issuing currency notes of rupees 2 and above, namely rupees 5, rupees 10, 20, 100, 200, 500, 2000. So this is the monopoly power of RBI, Reserve Bank of India. And 1 rupee is issued and circulated by RBI on behalf of the central governments. Remember, important question here. So all these notes are regulated as well as issued by the RBI or Reserve Bank of India. The coin 1 rupee that is circulated and issued on behalf of central government of India. That is the first function of RBI, monopoly of note issue. Second one, banker to government. It plays an important role as a banker to the government, both to the central government and to the state government. The RBI accepts the deposit of central and state governments, collects money that is in the form of like taxes and other charges, and also makes payments on behalf of the government. Banks collect the money and it make payment on behalf of the government, both central government and the state government. It issues government bonds, treasury bills, and also acts as financial advisor to the government. So who is act as a financial advisor to the government? RBI. Reserve Bank of India acts as a financial advisor to the government. RBI also extends loans, advances to central and state governments as and when necessary. So for the developmental programs, here the government needs amount or the deposits or the money. So whatever money that is provided by the bank. So the first function, monopoly of note issue. Second one, banker to the government. Third one, bankers bank. The RBI or Reserve Bank of India, famously called as bankers bank. It also acts as a bank for all banking institutions in the country. Central Bank of India or Reserve Bank of India acts as a bank for all banking institutions in India. All the banks of the country have to keep predetermined part of their deposits before the establishment of the new banks. First itself they have to keep their predetermined deposit in the central bank or the Reserve Bank of India. So here remember, all the banks of the country have to keep a predetermined part of their deposit as reserves with the RBI. Whenever banks need additional money, RBI provides credit to them. Banks sometimes in loss or it needs for the further development, so advance money is given by the RBI. It regulates the activities of the banks and guides them in monetary management. So whatever the management, monetary management or guidance to the monetary management that is given by RBI to all the banks of our country. Next, National Clearing House. It also plays an important role as National Clearing House. RBI acts as the clearing house for settlement of transactions across banks. So it plays an intermediate between the borrower and the lender. One who accept the loan and one who borrow the whatever lender loan to the people, because here main transaction activity of bank are accepting deposits and the lending. So if the bank is failed to get whatever required lend money back, so during that period RBI, National Clearing House, will do the duty of National Clearing House, that is nothing but being an intermediate between the banks or between the bank and the people. So this function helps banks to settle their interbanks claims. Whatever the interbanks remains, that will be cleared with the help of the interference of the Reserve Bank of India. Next, controller of credit. The RBI regulates the amount of credit created by the banks. That is other banks. All other banks comes under the control of here the Reserve Bank only. So how much the amount will be spent for as a credit, everything is controlled by the Reserve Bank. Here RBI regulates the amount of credit created by the banks according to the monetary situation of the country. Depending on the monetary situation, sometimes there will be inflation, sometimes there will be deflation. So based on the monetary situation of the country, it is regulated or controlled by the RBI. Next, custodian of foreign exchange reserves. Custodian of foreign exchange reserves. The RBI is also the custodian of foreign exchange reserves of the country. So remember, RBI plays an important role as the custodian of foreign exchange reserves, which it manages these foreign exchange rates. So whatever it plays important as the custodian through which it manages the transaction of these foreign exchange reserves or foreign exchange rates. In order to reduce the fluctuations in exchange rate, various fluctuation, every day you can see that there will be the fluctuation in the foreign exchange and other currencies. So here, wherever the fluctuations in exchange rate, it resorts to buying and selling of foreign currencies. So that is its main duty. Next, promotion of banking habits. The RBI promotes saving through branch expansion of the banking system in unbanked areas and financial literacy programs. Here, the RBI encourages the saving through branch expansion, expanding the branches in different places. Wherever in some places the place will be considered as unbanked areas. In such areas, it will support to establish branches and also financial literacy, conducting some financial literacy programs for the development of financial activities as well as banking activities in unbanked places or the areas. RBI has been playing an important role in framing the development strategy of Indian economy. In the framing the development programs for Indian economy. So whatever strategies, everything is issued and controlled and formulated by the RBI. It has a rich tradition of data collection, generating useful economic research and knowledge sharing. So all these the responsibility of Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank's measures have helped the nation to withstand many financial crises. So always it supports the government, central government and the state government to solve some of the financial crises. Whenever there is a problem of financial crisis, so it always supports the central government and the state government. So that is about the Reserve Bank of India and the functions of a Reserve Bank.